Hello and welcome to Brandix Reviews. We're here today to talk about the new trailer for the Fant 4 Stick, or whatever it's called. Was it Fant 4 Stick? That's what it says. That's the name of the film.
Well, we can't talk about the Fantastic Four without having the Fantastic Core along.
Exactly.
So.
Oh, brilliant. Well, here's a review anyway. So yeah, trailer came out yesterday. I didn't know this was scheduled. Something that's been a lot of people have been waiting for because there hasn't been a lot of information come out about this film. There's been a synopsis and stuff like that.
Yeah, the first I heard about it is when you Skyped me the link to the website.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's a really good trailer. It sets the tone and everything," which sort of does, but I wasn't wowed by it. It didn't grab me.
I wasn't either, because I got your link to it and I was like, what, are you just pissed off because it's a Fantastic Four and you're not a Fantastic Four fan? But I watched it and I was like, his trailer is just a bit
Well, that's the thing, because I like in context, I like the other films in context with, they're not very good, let's face it. But I've watched them many times and I will watch them again many more times. They're enjoyable in their own way. But...
Yeah, I wasn't setting this up because I wasn't asking people what they thought about it, but just a couple of friends I usually talk to online, just spontaneously, a couple of minutes after I'd watched the trailer, one was bringing up, doesn't the new trailer look a bit And the other person's like, yeah, it looks really shit. And I'm like, I did not prompt this at all.
Underwhelming as well. It's not like we're saying that the film's going to be bad, it's just that trailer really doesn't kind of sell.
I mean, there's kind of... The voiceover just seems to drone a little bit, and the music's not that energetic really until it really gets towards the end. It's got a... It could almost be like a come see New Zealand, for the first few scenes or wherever it is. Almost like some kind of travel video, behold these majestic views and stuff. It's this doesn't really tell me anything about the film or get me fired up for it.
Exactly. And we're not saying that the film's be bad. I mean, if the film turns out to be really good, I'm not in any way going to eat my words. I'm just saying that trailer really doesn't grab me. Doesn't make me think, man,
I was a bit undecided on the Ant-Man trailer, but I'll go out and say Ant-Man trailer better than this.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of indicated something.
It gave me a little bit of something about what the film was going to be. Whereas this, are they going to be fighting anything? Is this going to be just about exploration? Are they even going to get their powers, into the film, or is it going to be 10 minutes before the end where they even get their powers? It doesn't really tell you anything. And to put that in context, there are a lot of old superhero films where you go through way over half of the film where they're just normal people.
Yeah, I mean, I've had.
Luckily, they've sorted that out in most of them now.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, I've had it sort of explained. Other people have kind of said, "Well, yeah, this is the trailer, but," and then when it's been explained to me, I'm like, "Well, I can sort of see why it's not a traditional superhero film," because it turns out the director has said. These characters in this film, in this incarnation, are going to be more kind of based on David Cronenberg type stuff. He did The Fly, the Jeff Goldblum film. So instead of it being characters where they are got superpowers, superheroes, jumping off rooftops kind of thing, it's going to be more, not horror, because it's not a horror film, but it's going to be more like that. So The Fly, it's not about, I'm Fly Man, I'm going to save the day kind of thing. It was a horror film about half man, half fly. With these, you can have kind of.
I can certainly see that with the Fantastic Four in some ways, because it's always been a very light-hearted comic book series. It's kind of what happens to them is a bit fucked up. They do get powers they can't really control, or I mean, especially Ben Grimm is just right now I'm permanently this huge rocky freak.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, we haven't even seen what he looks like yet.
Yeah, you only see one scene of him, and apparently he's going to be motion captured. That's all they were really willing to say on it, because I saw a second trailer where the director and the people behind it basically were explaining what was going on, but they didn't really say much. It was just we've got these actors and we've got this and we've got that. It's you're not really telling me much.
I mean, I can see they've changed the origin of some of the stories that what's his name, the Human Torch, what's he called?
Johnny Storm.
Yeah, he's no longer a white guy, he's now, as Benedict Cumberbatch would say, he's a coloured man.
No, you can't do that, that's racist,
No,
that's racist!
No, he's not coloured, he's black, sorry. So I meant
I mean,
the same
still,
mistake.
it's nice to see Morgan Freeman in more films.
Well, it's not Morgan Freeman, you racist bastard. It's Lawrence Fishburne.
No!
Yeah, no, just reference the Benedict Cumberbatch goof that kind of made recently. But that aside, anyway.
Keeping it topical.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did say they wanted to keep it topical because they did refer back to the original Fantastic Four. Was kind of brought out in an age where like science was literally like changing the world, and in that case, that context, like space travel was the next big thing.
It was a space race, wasn't it?
Yeah, in this they're apparently going more into like parallel worlds and like exploration beyond like our own universe. So presumably, rather than firing them into space, they're going to fire them into some alternate reality, and that's how they're all going to get like screwed up. And also, the costumes you see them wearing are a bit more spacesuit-like, and they describe them as containment suits to help like control their abilities rather than traditional costumes, if you like.
Yeah, there's one other thing that kind of got me about this, that very quickly, you can't really even read it. It's from the studio that brought you X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Doing a similar trick to what Marvel did, but when Marvel did it, there was no deception going on. It was from the studio, like Captain America came out, the first Avenger. It's from the studio that brought you Iron Man, because they tie in. Technically, yes, this is the studio that brought you Days of Future Past, but it's not in the same
There's no
universe.
indication that these are ever going to... I mean, they could cross over, they own both of them, but this isn't like them building their own universe with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four are going to exist. There's no indication of that.
And it's kind of... If they're the first ones to do it, fair enough, I probably wouldn't read too much into that. Yes, it is the same studio, fair enough, but they're kind of doing what Marvel are trying to do. We're trying to do what Marvel did previously. That's just the way it seemed. It seemed a bit kind of...
And again, I would say it's also another reboot. I mean, Spider-Man didn't go too well when that was rebooted, and now... so who were the 20th Century Fox?
Yeah, Fox doing this.
They're rebooting as well. In some ways, I was a bit like, well, why are you bothering? Why not just recast the original characters and just go on? Do we really need their origin story again? Although, from what I've heard, this is going to be more based on the Ultimate Fantastic Four. Now, to quickly explain that in context to people who don't like follow comic books, Marvel has like a ridiculously long history going back like decades.
40s, 30s and 40s.
Yeah, they have like so much backstory for all these like iconic characters like Spider-Man. And you can go back and read all these old stories. They're I mean, I think you did like a Where to Start with Comics.
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
But still, they're very dated, some of these stories. I mean, some of the Iron Man ones are fighting like literally yellow-skinned, slinty-eyed, like racist stereotypes Chinese. It's really funny nowadays, but it is like that's a bit dodgy. So they basically came up with the Ultimate imprint. And they did like an Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Avengers, Ultimate Fantastic Four, where they basically rebooted these like classic characters from day one. You no longer had any continuity, you no longer had all this backstory. Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider and bang, you go on from there. And apparently that's what they're doing here. They're going for like a younger team of characters, because in the Ultimate imprint, most of the Fantastic Four are like kind of really young. They're not like grown up like they were like in the actual Fantastic Four, like mainstream. So that seems what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think they're going in the right direction with this. If you're gonna make this film, I mean, that's what you're saying. It's like, why bother? But if you are going to bother, I think
they're going for like a different version of the Fantastic Four, which, if it works, cool. You know, don't know if it will or not. But in case you're wondering, like, well, why the hell does like Mr. Fantastic look so bloody young? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
they are supposed to be like teenagers, early 20s. They're supposed to be much younger than you would traditionally think of the Fantastic Four being. With the exception of Johnny Storm, who was always supposed to be like a young hothead.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't really have much to say about the casting. I've vaguely seen some of the films these guys have been in. They've done quite a bit of work, but I haven't really seen them in anything where I've like noticed them and they've stood out.
Yeah, I think the only one that I know of is Kate Mara, and that's very briefly in some some great films like is it 128 Hours or I can't remember.
Yeah, that one where the guy stuck climbing.
Yeah, she's in it. She's in that. She's in Shooter. She was quite good in that like major part, and she was in Iron Man 2 as well, actually, for a brief scene. But also the guy that plays Doctor Doom, I can't remember the name of the actor, but he was in Rock and Roller. He was Johnny Quid was the character.
Yeah, there is definitely going to be Doctor Doom to some. It's unclear whether you're actually going to get Doctor Doom striding around in his metal mask and his green cloak, but there is a Victor
Von
Doomnetsky or something. It's
Yeah.
like it's not Victor Von Doom. It's like Victor Von something else.
His handle name is Doom apparently because he goes on the internet. I don't think he's a hacker. I think he's some kind of like online troll or something. But presumably not just like hid in his bedroom. It's pretty more to it.
Yeah, like I say, we don't really know much about that. There's nothing in the trailer to indicate what's going on.
I've seen some pictures of the Doom. I don't know where, but there's a few of them, so it looks like they're kind of like robots or something.
Which Doctor Doom did do, because he had a lot of robotic duplicates.
Exactly.
Even if you beat up Doctor Doom, like say you're Spider-Man, you kick Doom's ass. You didn't necessarily beat up Doctor Doom, you might find out like shit, it was just a robot double that I've beaten up.
Like Iron
and
Man
it still
suits.
nearly kicked my ass.
Yeah, just like the Iron Man suits in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, the only thing I've got to say on the casting is I'm not sure about the Johnny Storm thing. We vaguely brought up like jokingly.
Racist!
I just don't know if you're going to like change his ethnicity. Why not just go whole hog and make Sue Storm also? Because they're supposed to be like
sister,
Johnny and Sue are supposed to be like related. So I mean, I do get that you can have a family where one kid's white and one kid's black. That's like not unusual. But at the same time, if you're going to change the ethnicity of one character, why not change the ethnicity of the other character just because you need to have a pretty Caucasian lead? Like, what?
Yeah, because I mean, at least if they were both black, they would keep that they were both brother and sister.
I mean, I'm assuming they're still going to be brother and sister, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a case of colourblind casting. They got in a collection of people, and he was the best actor for the role, and they went, "To hell with it! It works. Who cares?"
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Like I say, I'm not upset with the idea of him being Johnny Storm. It's just if you're gonna make one of them black, why not just make both of them black? I mean, you could easily do it.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the colourblind thing. It's like with when they were talking about having Idris Elba as James Bond. It's like it doesn't really matter, whether it's black or white, because it's as long as the best man gets the role kind of thing. But at the same time, if these characters are brother and sister, at least keep that. At least keep it consistent. And if you're gonna have a black actor and one have a black actor as a sister as well, kind of thing. But I don't know. The fact that they're brother and sister, you might quickly forget that relationship in this film because you think, well, it doesn't really matter because all the characters have a great chemistry or whatever. Or the film might just be a load of rubbish, and you think, who cares?
Yeah, like I say, time will tell. This trailer hasn't sold me on the franchise. I'd say going into it, I liked Fantastic Four more than I liked Ant-Man, but the Ant-Man trailer sold me more on that film than this has for a Fantastic Four reboot.
Yeah. I'm a big sucker for superhero films, and I think every time there's been a trailer for the last few years for any superhero film, I've always been kind of excited about this, but this one's probably the first one in a long time. I'm thinking, I'm not even bothered, really. But
Yeah, it lacked a certain energy for me, and also, you don't really see much of the effects. So you've got nothing to really like prepare you for. Is this going to be a film with like really good effects, or is this going to be one of those films where you're just face palming a little bit because they don't look that good? I mean, there's nothing really to tell you one way or the other. You see a long angled shot of Johnny Storm flaming up, but it's like pretty wide angle. You don't really see it up close. You see a vague image of Ben Grimm in his like stoned up form. But again, you don't really see enough to see like how good is this going to look on camera. So
it's a first trailer as well. I mean, I know we're kind of being a bit.
It's a
negative.
teaser, but for example, the teaser for Star Wars told me a lot more and got me a lot more interested in what was happening.
It's got a buzz to it. I think this is lacking the buzz. I think that's what it really is.
Like I say, it's got this like long, slow, like, don't know if the guy's, no jokes aside, but trying to be Morgan Freeman with that like deep kind of like gravitas to it, but it doesn't really work. It just kind of bored me a little bit. He's talking about like invention and the progress of the human spirit, and it's like, I don't care. Can we have like some actual, energy in this, please?
It was, it reminds me of, I just thought about this now, it was a bit like the first trailer for Man of Steel, but that kind of worked because we knew it was Christopher Nolan produced. It was that kind of a thing, because I know others have compared the Fantastic Four trailer to Interstellar.
I was going to say, I got a bit of a vibe like that. Not exactly Interstellar, but definitely that kind of film.
But I had like a scene with a car like going into like a cornfield. It kind of instantly reminded me of it, just that shot. But yeah, that kind of tone. So it was fine for Man of Steel having that kind of same vibe base, because we knew that was what we were getting. Whereas with this, I know they're going for something different to what we've seen before. I know it's not going to be another superhero film with many masks and costumes jumping off buildings and stuff.
Because, like I said, they don't seem to be wearing anything that you would recognise as the Fantastic Four outfit.
Which is great as well. If it's a good film, they do something new. Just the trailer itself.
Certainly, from what you see, it looks very much like almost a disaster film in some ways, because you see them kind of going down wrecked corridors and there's like dead.
Yeah.
Presumably, other like explorers who were just like in suits, just lying there. So maybe they're like fighting some kind of natural disaster more than just a villain, which would be interesting. Like a group of people getting weird, screwed up powers and coming together to somehow use that to help people would be interesting.
Yeah. I think optimistically cautious is the way I would describe my feelings towards this film, as I'm sure it is with a lot of people, but we'll see anyway.
We'll see when the film comes out, but my review of the trailer,
Yeah, pretty much mine. So, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else to add? No.
No. I'm gonna hold off on any more bad jokes.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there, but we'll see as things develop, and also other trailers and stuff like that for other films. Probably talk about them.
Doubtless, when this film does come out, we will review it. So.
Yeah, you can put a count on that. So BronXReviews.com is the website. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. There's a Facebook page. There's also the website BronXReviews.com. You go to the website, you can find all the links to the social media stuff on there as well, so check that out, and we will see you next time.
See you.
Right, guys, slight disclaimer. That is not my willy in the video.
He didn't have that out during the conversation.
That was my hand. I was just wearing black. It just kind of blended in with...
Oh, that's his story. Sticking to it.
Well, if it was my penis, it was rather limp, so,
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
What the hell? Jesus Christ. That was not my willy. I swear to God.